but it is now time to get into our first guest of the night. Again, she's been on a couple of times before. Fantastic comic creator, an actor. Last time she was on, we talked about Rogues Gallery, her first creator-owned title that came out through Image Comics. This time around, she's got a new title coming out, a horror comic coming from IDW this October called The Exorcism at 1600 Penn, which, if you remember the Murder at 1600 movie, you know that Wesley Snipes said that's an address that changes all the rules. Welcome back to the program, Hannah Rose May.
Hi, thank you so much for having me again.
Well, thank you for coming back on the show. We always love having you on. Of course, you had a big week last week with San Diego Comic-Con. How did it feel to go to the IDW booth and see the artwork for the first issue of The Exorcism at 1600 Penn? Gigantic, like 10 times the size of you. How did that feel?
I'm not, it was big, it wasn't gigantic.
We're talking, it was like the size of the convention center. It was huge.
Think Giganta, and it was that big. It was bigger than this, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was bigger than a comic book cover, totally.
Yes. It was a big surprise. I wasn't at all anticipating that because obviously the book isn't even out yet. Pre-orders had started the day after. So yeah, that was a first for me. I've never seen work advertised on the con floor. And obviously having been, a big comic con goer for years, I've lost count of how many Comic Cons I've gone to. And just taken photos in front of so many other people's artwork for the longest time. I don't know. It was one of those things that I never even thought that it wasn't even on a checklist of mine. I hadn't thought like it was a possibility. And even writing comic books, it still wasn't something I thought of. So yeah, it was very surreal. And it was even cooler seeing people like stop and be like, oh my God, that's so cool. Because obviously it's weirdly timely right now. Had no idea, obviously, when I was writing this years ago. We've been working on this for 2 years, and I had the idea even longer. We wouldn't even be talking about the first female president in the White House. It is crazy timing. If the Simpsons are listening, I'm available. I can predict the future, and I didn't know it. My magic 8-ball is sitting over here.
Oh my gosh.
So, because I have to imagine, like, a lot of people in this world want to be in your shoes, like somebody who is a fan of comics and creation and doing all those things. And now you're getting to live that. Like, you're getting to, like, you've worked on other projects in the past that we've talked to you about, and that's fun. But seeing that gigantic image, right? Like, and knowing, like what you said, like you flip the script now. You are on the other side of it. You are the one who is being looked at. You're the one who people want to come and talk to and to meet. Has that changed your perspective about being a fan?
It just makes me appreciate it even more, to be honest. When I decided to take on writing Rose Gallery, I was very naive to the process of what making a comic book would be. Obviously, I had read them and you think like you understand the format and whatnot, but it's a whole different ball game. So yeah, if anything, it's made me love and appreciate my idols even more. I can't believe I even get to play in their playpen. I'm very, very fortunate and very lucky. And I can't believe it's kind of like became somewhat of a full-time job. Like, I just cannot believe that I get to sit in my office and write comic books. Everyone says, like, don't make your hobby into your job. I've gone and done that, and I'm very happy about it. I don't plan on becoming a Lego master, so that's going to still be my hobby. But yeah, no, it's just given me such a deep appreciation for my idols, essentially.
Totally. That's a good call, because as cutthroat as comics can be sometimes, them Lego masters, they come to play. So it's good that you're keeping that as a hobby. Totally. Yeah. But totally. Of course, The Exorcism at 1600 Penn, horror comic, course, set at the White House. For people who haven't heard about it yet or weren't lucky enough to be on the Comic-Con floor to get one of the copies that was given out, what is Exorcism at 1600 Penn all about?
So we're kind of already telling you in the title.
Yeah.
We're not, we're not leading the witness over here. So yeah, we're gonna go and do an exorcism in the White House. Basically, think The Exorcist meets House of Cards. I think that's like a good selling point for it. It follows the first female president, Kelly Doyle. Again, crazy timing. Had no idea. Yeah, it follows the first female president as she's juggling being a mother, taking on probably the biggest job in the world, I would argue, if not one of them, and dealing with all the scrutiny that comes with, taking on a position like that in the White House. But she never predicted that of all the tasks that she would have to take on, one of them could potentially be demonic, and be set within the halls of the White House. Yeah, there's a lot of, we obviously have to subvert your expectations a little bit because we're telling you what we do in the title. So there is twists and turns that are at play. It's so hard right now to sell this. You guys are actually the first people I'm talking to
Wow.
about it. Yeah, because obviously it's not out. Like that's the trickiest part,
Right.
is especially because we're telling you in the title. So I don't want to like give away too much, because I do want people to pick it up. Rogues Gallery was a lot easier to sell because Rogues Gallery, everyone knows what a Rogues Gallery is. So it was a fun name to put on because obviously the book is not at all what you would think it was.
Yeah.
But in this case, yes, we're telling you, we're like, you know what you're in for when you're picking this up. But
Totally. But much like Rogues Gallery, with this, you're also, looking at social issues. You're looking at the 24-hour news cycle, the noise of social media, expectations put on the first family. Like it's always, you're never just surface with your stuff. You've got some interesting message behind it.
I like playing with meta narratives. I have a weird obsession with the media in general. Like I think it's very interesting how we all take in different information, and how, you could be sitting next to someone and their explore page could be entirely different to your explore page. So I find that very interesting. So in my storytelling and for The Exorcist, the Exorcism at 1600 Penn, we're showing it through the lens of the media. So you're seeing it from both sides. You don't know what political party she is. It's basically very apolitical. You don't know who the enemy is. Similar to like Top Gun Maverick, they talk about the enemy, but you don't know who the enemy is. So as a watcher, you kind of got to, think yourself, like, and put your own little spin on it. It's similar with this, but yeah, it's basically we're showing it through the lens of the media. Could you imagine if they decided to do an exorcism in the White House? How would we find out? How would the media feel about it?
I was gonna say, part of me believes there might have been a few over the years, because
that place is so haunted. That place, there's not. Yeah, they've seen a ghost or two at the bare minimum.
Well, I'm pretty sure guests of the Lincoln bedroom have probably seen something. Yeah,
for sure. And arguably for some people, there has been one or two demons that have inhabited the White House at different times.
Yes.
Look, you said it, not me.
Hey, that's
we're Canadian. We can take
free.
the blame. Yeah.
I'm Irish.
Right. You're Irish, but you live there is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You live there. So.
Yes, I do live here, but I also can't vote. So I'm like, I'm just a bystander. Okay. I'm just a media watcher.
There you go.
Well, that's fair. But although, to be fair though, Andrew, because we are not in America, we are susceptible to the CIA, where she's not. She only has to deal with the NSA and the FBI. We
Great. So we're now on a list. Fantastic. All right.
I really want to send it to the White House, but I was like, am I going to end up on a terrorist list? And I really I just got my green card and worked really hard for it, and I'm very happy with it. So if anyone's listening, it's all fun and games. It's not serious.
Well, no, for sure. Like, obviously, it's a comic book. We're having fun. It's, we're just joking around here, like that's just, it's a good bit of fun. However, as we've already alluded to, in the current climate of the world, there are some people that might take things a little too far. That's the sad part. And as you mentioned, like, you're kind of, your story was a little bit prescient with what's happening, within really, honestly, the most fortuitous timing ever. Literally you announce it, that you have the con, and then like within, like, I can't even remember from when you announced it to when it actually happened, but it could have only been a few hours, and then all of a sudden, boom, Kamala's up there. You're like, okay.
It was wild. It really was wild. And, even when I wrote the idea, because I think I've been working on it for 3 years, but then, pitched it to publishers like 2 years ago, and we've been actively working on it. It wasn't even obviously a topic of conversation, which is really wild. I just like putting women in places that we haven't seen them before. I love gender bending roles. And I was like, oh, we haven't seen a woman in the White House. And we also haven't seen an exorcism in the White House. That's fun. Let's put that together. But yeah, it is crazy timing. Yeah, hopefully it works in favor of the book.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like that'd be I think it will. I still think you are on the right edge here of what's going on. But yeah, it's just like, it blows my mind when you think about it. Like you mentioned the Simpsons, because the Simpsons have been notorious for, foretelling the future, and now you're jumping into that bandwagon too. So you're in illustrious company.
I mean, that's a big compliment. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the book it's dare I say, obviously I'm biased, but it really is fun, and Vanessa's art is like crazy. And this is just a little preview ashcan that we obviously gave out at San Diego Comic-Con. It's just what Vanessa Del Rey and Jordi Belair have done on this is insane. It's beyond my wildest imaginations. I can't believe I even get to touch something that they have worked on. I might just, call it quits after this, because I'm not sure we'll get better.
No, Vanessa Del Rey, amazing artwork, and Jordi Belair is probably the best damn colorist in the business right now.
Yeah.
She's,
again.
exactly. She got a shelf that can't handle the weight of those Eisners by now. Totally. My God. But
the way I sit like this with my figurines, Jordi is probably just
it's like if we were talking to her right now, the shine off the Eisners would be like, oh, my eyes. Yeah, totally. But something interesting you put out, like, again, on this show, we like to go into different places. Sometimes we like to get into a little therapy as well. Something you put out on Twitter during San Diego Comic-Con that said, I don't sleep before signings. Instead, I have horrible stress dreams of nobody showing up or me somehow ending up naked in public. A conversation for another day. So seeing these little snippets after the fact is so beyond rewarding. Of course, people were sharing online, going up and getting their book, the Ashcan book, signed from you. So this intense fear of people not showing up, is this something you've dealt with for a long time?
I feel like it's a rite of passage. I really do think that, like, when you get into comics, I just have heard so many horror stories, and as a result, I don't really do a lot of signings. I don't put myself out that often, but it is it's necessary. And every time I do it, I'm so happy that I did it, because it's so nice to be able to meet people and see people who like have such a love for a medium, and it's incredibly rewarding to have people love something that you created. So every time I actually do it, I'm like, I need to do this more often. But then the idea of it just scares the life out of me. I legit think people thought that I was joking about the naked. No, that was a legit nightmare the night before. I woke up, I had a nightmare that I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and I was talking at a party, and all the cast of Deadpool were there, which obviously with all the marketing and everything happening with Deadpool, it felt very real. And I was talking to Ryan Reynolds, but naked. That was a legit nightmare that I had. And like, I wasn't aware that I was naked. It's like I just forgot to get dressed. It was just insane. And Ryan is like this, trying to like talk to me, but aware that I was naked. That was a legit nightmare. And I don't know, I probably need to talk to my therapist about that one. Something we can uncover another day. I already have a bag of other problems that she's like, yeah, next day. But yeah, there is just like this irrational fear about people not showing up. But touch wood, I've been very fortunate that people have came out for me, and I'm very, very fortunate for it. But yeah, hopefully I say that, and there will be a day I'll be sitting there and twiddling my thumbs, fully dressed, please God.
Fully dressed,
yeah.
I will say it was nice that Ryan Reynolds was respectful in your dream. That was nice.
He just strikes you as like extremely respectful. To marry Blake Lively, you would definitely assume so. Big fans of them. So not the kind of dream I would think that I would have about Ryan Reynolds, but I'm glad someone was naked in it. I just would have liked it to have been maybe the opposite. But again, conversation for another day.
Hey, let's just put it all out there and see what sticks to the wall, right? Like that's you just gotta some people just, speak it to the universe and it happens. Now, speaking of
Oh.
being naked, I to perfectly segue into this,
Someone's gonna click. This is gonna be like taken. Someone's gonna cut this in totally context, and it's gonna be used against me until the end of time.
I don't know how to respond to that one, except for I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's
If somebody puts it up, we'll refute it. We'll refute it every time. Yeah.
Wasn't me.
I'll officially we'll clip this part. We're sorry. We'll clip that, and that will be the response to any tweets with it. But no, just kind of like tagging off of the being naked part. I know this is a weird transition, but I did want to talk to you about the Star Trek Celebration and being on Ryza, because naked on Ryza is a pretty normal thing, although not naked in your story. Nobody's naked.
I was like, where are we going with this?
I get you. We'll get you there. We'll get you there. It's always a winding tour.
Mr. Green's always 6 degrees from Star Trek, so we're good.
Yes.
Or Star Wars. It's one of the two.
There was a lot of shirtless characters, though.
You're right. Yes, there were.
Yeah, we kind of pushed as naked as we could possibly. I would have loved some boobs and bum all over the pages if I had my own way, but yeah, no, unfortunately you have to answer to the overlords, and I think it had to be a little more safe for all ages, so we definitely did our best. But yeah, it was a really, really fun story to write. Thank you for mentioning it. Yeah,
well, because like here's the thing. I'll admit, not that I need to admit to anything, but I'm a huge fan of Lower Decks. I think it is probably one of the best Star Trek editions since it's been created. They've done so many fresh, new, fun ideas in that show, and you getting to write this story, which honestly feels no different than anything that I've seen on the show. Like I could see, like, have you talked to them? Are you talking, like, go out there, like get on the writing crew? That's what I'm saying. Like, because I dug this story and I think it's fantastic.
I really appreciate that. So basically, if anyone wants to cut anything from this, cut that and send it to Mike. That could be the takeaway. That would be great.
Let's speak that into the universe. That's what we're doing.
Yes,
speak that into the universe.
There you go.
I really appreciate that. I think the reason probably why I did feel like is I'm a big fan of the show. So when I got the opportunity to write within Star Trek, they came to me, they asked if I want to write for Star Trek, and immediately I was like, can I pitch on Lower Decks? And that they were like, absolutely. There's a couple of other people that are also pitching, which wasn't a surprise. So I had no idea that I was going to get it. So I literally dropped my phone when I got the email that like my pitch had been accepted, because just to even be able to like put your fingers, tiny touch on that was just an absolute dream come true. And hopefully it's not the last time that I do get to touch it, but I'm so sad that this show hasn't got renewed for another season, that like, it's going to be the last season. But I'm hoping that another network is smart and pulls it and picks it up and we get more, because I really think it's like just endless opportunities to continue. They're obviously doing spin-offs. We did just hear some recent news about spin-offs, and they're going to continue it in the comics world. So that's very fun. But yeah, it's one of those shows where I meet a lot of people and they're like, oh, I want to dip my toes into Star Trek, but I don't know where to start. And I think that Lower Decks is the perfect opportunity, because it's one of those rare shows within the Star Trek universe where I feel like you don't have to be too familiar with all of the inner workings of Star Trek. It is kind of a bit of an education along the way. So I always encourage people to watch Lower Decks. It's just so fun.
Yeah, well, like you said, they even sometimes in the episode will, for the layman, explain the craziness of the, like, I love, one of my favorite things in Lower Decks of all time was the whole thing they did about the officers coming back to life. That there's the whole gag about that. They do a gag on that. I was like, that's great. But they do other ones like with like dilithium, everything. They do it all. That's why I love this show so much. And the comic series, maybe if there's no show, maybe we'll get you into the comic book, writing the comic every day, every month. There you go. Speaking it to the universe. I'm speaking it into the universe for you.
I really appreciate that. If Ryan North takes a sick day or needs anyone to do backups or, wants to take a pause, please put me in, Coach. I would love that.
Oh, definitely. Now, with that particular story in there, that one was edited by Heather Antos, right?
Yes.
So with 1600 Penn, this is your third project being edited by Heather Antos.
Yeah.
Are you guys now into like more of a
Third time's a
rhythm?
charm.
Yeah. Are you guys now into more of a rhythm? Like, you know what each other, like when she's going to come with a note, you already know what she's going to say. Are you guys on that copacetic now?
Yeah, I think we can probably predict each other's sensibilities. Yeah, we're probably the joy is the notes have definitely got shorter, so we know how to work together. Lower Decks was our first time obviously doing an IP together, so that was really fun. Everything else has been original. For the Exorcism at 1600 Penn, I knew immediately after Rose Gallery what I wanted the next book to be. And I had pitched it to Heather, and I actually pitched it to Heather 2 years ago verbally on the con floor at San Diego Comic-Con when Rogues Gallery was out. I just knew, I was like, if people want to hear anything else from me, I'm going to write this book. Heather pitched it verbally that same day to Mark Doyle over at IDW, and the book was accepted. Like, it was kind of just like Mark was like yes on the title alone, which was a very rare incident. Obviously I still had to go and break it out and make it an interesting format before they officially took it, but on the title alone, Mark was like, yes. I had no idea that his name was Mark Doyle and my president is called Kelly Doyle, which was just an hilarious coincidence. And when I found out his name was Mark Doyle, I was like, we should change the name. And everyone was like, no, it's hysterical. So yeah, we kept it in.
That's fantastic. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Of course, also at the beginning of this year, one other comic story that dropped was a backup story in Harley Quinn number 35. The one with the dinosaurs in the jungle. It's funny, the last time we got to talk to you, I think Green threw out, was like, what character would you really love to work on? And one of the first things you said was, I'd love to work on Harley Quinn. Yeah. So getting that little taste on such a fun little story. Are you itching to get back to some more Harley Quinn?
My dream is Gotham City Sirens. Like, that would just be like the ultimate dream. Yeah, getting to work on Harley Quinn was crazy. I don't think I had it when we were even talking. It was the best DM I've ever got in my life. To the point that I was reading the DM from the editor, thinking that if anyone wanted to prank me, like, this would be the perfect opportunity. Like, is there hidden cameras right now? Like, I didn't think it was real. I was like, this punked, because this is the way to get me. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was by far the best DM I have ever received. If anyone else is listening, like Marvel, and wants to compete, the DMs are open. Slide on in. But yeah, no, I'm very, getting to touch Harley Quinn was a dream, and hopefully it's not the last time.
Is there a Marvel character that you'd love to work on?
Since we helped you get Harley, we gotta help. We gotta speak it more into the universe for you. That's what we're here for.
You guys seem to be, yeah, you guys are the magic genie. Just gonna rub your heads.
Be careful if my hair's falling out. So
I mean, honestly, there's tons of, your hair looks great.
This is all magic. It takes me about an hour and a half to create this. But anyways, continue.
There's tons. I mean, I could probably be here for the next hour listing all of the redheads within the Marvel universe. Again, I'm very biased towards redheads. So there's tons. There's also tons of obviously Irish characters. I actually think Marvel has a lot more Irish characters than DC does. I'd love to touch tons of them. But yeah, no, if honestly any female character in the Marvel universe, if they hit me up over it, I would be like, yes, let's go.
That's pretty awesome. That's great. But of course, the other thing aside from comic creating that you're involved in, you're an actor. You've been acting for a while. And this year, in the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, episode 3, Vertical Drop, Horizontal Tug, where you got to share the screen with Larry David and JB Smoove.
Yes, I did. It's so wild. I still can't believe that happened. The whole thing feels like a fever dream, because I think I was probably the last person on the planet to know that show is entirely improvised. So when I got that audition, I was very confused as to why there wasn't sides. And I was like, what do I do? And they were like, you improvise. Improvise what? So yeah, that's definitely been the biggest shock booking of my life. Still can't believe that happened. The whole experience was crazy. I didn't even tell anyone I was on that show until the episode came out. Not even some of my closest friends knew that I had filmed that, because I was
You gave a little hint though on Instagram.
by then the pop-up, so a pop-up happened in Los Angeles, and they pop up and they did like the Larry's coffee shop and bagels and all of the fun stuff. So I went to the pop-up and a lot of people were sharing it, and I shared it. Even then, I didn't say anything because I was still nervous that I wasn't in the show. I had no idea, because it's all improvised. You don't have anything to walk away from after being like, oh, what did I do today? Because honestly, you don't really remember, because you're just like shooting the shit essentially. I don't know, probably should
Yeah,
swear
no, you're
wrong.
good.
No, you're good.
Bleep. But yeah, you're just, and every setup is different. You're not really saying the same thing twice, you're not like repeating the same jokes. Like it's truly, everything is truly improvised. The reactions are real, the laughs are real. So yeah, I had no idea what would be shown, what wouldn't be shown. So it was, when it aired on the other coast first, obviously, and then my phone started ringing, and then I posted being like, I'm on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I truly had no idea. It was insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, while you were there, because I know you didn't have a scene with it, did you get to talk at all to the late Richard Lewis?
I didn't. No, I would have loved to. I think we were supposed to have a day, because we were supposed to be filming on the golf course, and obviously Richard films on the golf course a lot. So I do think that they had planned on us all being on the golf course together, but we actually got rained out. It was during that period in Los Angeles where there was just insane rains for so long. So we missed 2 days of filming and had to get moved. So that's why in my episode, we're with umbrellas, we're in jackets, we're just like working with the weather, which you rarely see in LA. We just kind of, had to shoot it as is. But no, I unfortunately didn't. But what a legend.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, because it's improvised, I didn't. So did you have any idea that Larry was gonna throw his hat into the ring as being the possible? No. You had no idea, so you just had to roll with it.
I had no idea. No. I didn't know like who I was really interviewing for my sperm donor. It could have been anybody. I truly had no idea that it was going to be like Larry. Everything was a surprise. It was when I got the call sheet and I saw like the numbers obviously on the call sheet, who was being listed in that time and filming on set, that I was like, oh, I'm getting to work with Larry. And JB just had me crying hysterically, like constantly. He's such a lovely person. We got to have lunch together while we were filming, and he was just chatting away with me and just really like, made me feel so welcome. And yeah, it was just a great set. It was such an insane experience. Yeah, that was truly a pinch me moment.
That's great.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I just actually, weirdly enough, I was listening to earlier this week an interview with oh my God, I've totally Schitt's Creek.
Dan Levy?
No, his father, Eugene.
Oh, Eugene Levy.
Jesus,
okay.
I lost my whole train of thought there. My brain just no. But I was listening to this interview with Eugene Levy talking about doing Waiting for Guffman and all those types of films, very similar to Curb Your Enthusiasm, where there's nothing. They have their outline that they work on, and then they just, and he was talking about, and I'm just curious from your side of things, when you were there on set, did you encounter a really great take when, and you're trying not to laugh because like the insanity going on around you?
It's so funny because I think Larry and JB are the two who really actually crack themselves up the most, which is just so funny. Yeah. They truly, like, some of the stuff coming out of JB's mouth, like Larry was like just in hysterics. They're so funny. But while they were laughing, me and who played my husband, the two of us, Chris, we were both like very stern. So it was just so funny because I feel like in our minds we were like, don't laugh, don't break character, like the whole time. So no, we actually like somehow managed to like keep ourselves together. Which, I think I was literally biting my tongue. It's a shock that I still have it. I was probably literally just sitting there like, but no, I managed to stay in character. I just let them laugh, laugh at each other. But yeah, no, to be honest, the whole experience, I kind of like blacked it out because it was just so surreal. Like the whole day didn't feel real, and I didn't sleep for the whole week before. It's similar to the signing, because I couldn't prepare. It's not like when you read a script as an actress, you're reading the script, you can like memorize your lines, like, okay, I'm ready to go. I've got everything taken care of. I've done my part. For this, there was no preparation. So in my mind, I was like, I'm not ready, I'm not prepared, but I knew that like I was. And quite honestly, after that, I feel like I could probably do, we're talking about a lot of nakedness here, but I would probably go do a naked fight scene with full confidence. Because after that, I really felt like I can do anything now. But yeah, it's just yeah, wild experience. And they're so
Oh my
lovely, like
gosh.
Harry and JB, they're just really, and the whole set, the whole crew, Jeff, everyone was so welcoming. I'm so sad that it's the final season. I'm so sad that it's gone. And I don't know, crossing my fingers that they like spin it off and JP has the house or something.
There you go. There you
And
go.
hopefully my
Hopefully.
baby.
Yeah, yeah,
There you go.
exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh. No, well, Hannah, I want to thank you for coming back on the program. Of course, your next TV or film project, your next comic project, definitely want to have you back on and talk more. It's always a
Appreciate
delight
that.
talking with you.
Absolutely.
You're the best. Yeah, no, I'm glad that you guys have taken my marketing frigidity on this book. It's such a great first one to have. And yeah, The Exorcism at 1600 Penn is available for pre-orders now. Comic books live and die on pre-orders, so whoever's listening, please order it.
Yeah, definitely pre-order it. The first issue coming out October 16th. So get to your comic shop now and put it
The
on your
day
pull
before
list.
New York Comic Con, which I will be attending.
Oh, there you
Perfect.
go.
There you go. So pre-order the book, get the first issue, and then go to New York Comic Con and get it signed.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hannah,
Thanks.
thanks again. Have a great night.
You too. You too. Thank you so much.